सह्याद्रीची सैर करणं पुन्हा या सह्याद्रीची सैर करणं पुन्हा
anything, really. And it didn't look like that, but it certainly does look like it's got some promise today. We've got Anya Shrubsole.
The visitors from the West Country so far, and Anya Shrubsole has taken the ball from the far end. The cricketer who never seems to know when she's beaten as she bowls right arm over. Here comes Shrubsole again, bowling, and Davis just can't quite get a bat into the line of that one, and it onto no run there.
Timing and the bounce, I think.
Neither of them scored in the first game. Again, in the game that's at the we'll try and settle to see excitement end of the second over, no 2 overs. From either Filer or Shrubsole.
No, but I've got the help of Hypercourse, thank you, to beat South Africa by 8 runs. And Lauren Winfield Hill was player of the match that day.
And
Yeah, because that's the other thing. It's going to be interesting because they only play
bowls, and particularly at Worcester. Gone wide on the other side there. Similar to the start they had at the Northern. Filer comes in. It's you send through in towards the pads. Well, 5 without loss, the score. In that game, the top was quite than last year, where the Shrubshill bowls outside the off. Down in the West Country, you've played for them, I suppose, as
team, although I am the country, the start of which my Ian Shrubsole.
lost. 2 slips now. Slip corner, they're just sort of trying to cover as much. Just broken into the England ball. and she came down sort of full kit. Certainly as Davis waits again. Goes through outside the off stump. Ask you sort of you said you came across on sort of your time and you kind of, what was your experience of Rachel?
Well, it's an amazing character kit. Golf and hockey. Interestingly, my story related a school trip here. England versus Australia one dayer here, so we got a
Bowls, but that's very wide out. That lost, the score moves on. So it's actually
we had a school trip, but I was about
Filer again, right arm over the wicket. This is a full toss, and that's the best chance.
Couldn't quite get hold. At sweets and whatever.
In comes crease on that occasion.
For a play here at Edgbaston, and she'd only a few years before that she'd lifted the World Cup, the first ever Cricket World Cup.
Comes Filer, right arm over the wicket, pavilion end, and there's a big old swipe there from Eve Jones. Wondering if that would be a wide again. Eve Jones is standing there, I think, almost to make the point, but it's a dot ball that is the result there. Would have gone away to the short side of the boundary had she connected. Filer again, pacing in. A shadow goes across the grass, which is good to see, and this one's driven firmly by Eve Jones. But 7 without loss, the score remains. Just see Fee Morris on the onside.
You can sort of feel the tension from the bats, really. Not getting the ball away.
335 runs in last year's competition. Still looking for her first runs of this, and
yes,
that sound will tell you all you need to know. The applause. The ball has gone for 4 on the offside. It was a flowing drive. Slightly had a little bit of uppishness about it at first, and you were wondering, would one of those offside fielders get in the game, but they don't. And Eve Jones does have her first runs of the 2021 competition, having been so prolific in the 2020 competition. 11 without loss, the Sparks score at the end of the over, and Eve Jones will be feeling a lot better.
I'm hoping that was a real nerve settler for her, just getting hold of the ball and seeing it go over the rope. Happy days.
We certainly know that she can bat. We saw plenty of it last season. The 100 notably coming in the game at Grace Road, but she was a star performer throughout this competition last season, and She'll be trying to be a star performer again this season. She will have been most happy at Headingley to leave with the win. As Shrubsole comes in, Davis is tucking it into the leg side, and there's a mighty round of applause there from the Sparks players down below us in the pavilion.
Yeah, although she didn't contribute so much with the bat, but she took a couple of key catches there, Nat Siver and Amy Campbell, Nat Siver particularly. So it was interesting because I was looking at the sort of highlights, and actually they'd all done something, some sort of contribution to that key win on Saturday.
In comes Shrubsole again, and that one's through outside the off stump. Already seen 79 likes and around about 500 people watching the stream already, so that's fantastic numbers. You're with Mike Perkins and Claire Jenkins, and this has all been brought to you via the Central Sparks website. So absolutely fantastic to have everybody with us, and you are very welcome. You're part of the club, and it has been a steady start from Sparks so far, as this one is bowled just over the top, and Wraith is there with the gloves and is able to stop that one and prevent any runs. And again, Storm just sensing something. Gully's coming as well here, Claire Jenkins.
There's a sense they're getting closer and closer.
They're closing
really
in,
putting the
aren't
pressure
they?
on, because the batters really haven't got the ball through the gaps yet, so bowling's been so good.
Here is Shrubsole, right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Davis. There was a big grunt there, but not a lot of actual extra pace. I don't know. It was slightly sort of just to settle. Davis with a single early in the over. Now Shrubsole comes in and bowls, and it's defended. Easily back down the track by Jones on that occasion.
Shrubsole again can't believe that she's not got a wicket.
Well, she squared her up slightly there,
Yeah.
but and though Jones was scoreless, I think she was fairly okay with that one, but we will see. Of course, the other big contributions in the previous game, 5 for 49, I think it was, from Izzy Wong. The 100 we've mentioned from Amy Jones. As this one's driven, and now was that a chance at cover? There was a little bit of uppishness in the drive. It was one of those that it's very, very difficult to see whether it carried out there to cover. They've scampered through for a single. 13 without loss the score goes to, but that was very, very close to being a chance out there at cover. What was your view on it, Claire Jenkins?
Well, actually, Mike, I was just looking down at my notes just at that split second, unfortunately, as we have a COVID break to sanitise the hands.
Yep, they're just coming round, but the hands will be stinging in there. It was a good stop in the end.
Yeah,
but
I saw that. I looked up to see the scrobbling on the floor and just thought, oh no, I've just missed that.
It was one of those that it felt like it was going to carry, and then the ball popped out, and it was almost as if maybe it hadn't. But there's plenty of discussion going on about it. But
because that bit of the field is where all well, it's obviously in the squares, but it can be quite a hard place to be diving about on, because it tends to be the sort of compacted bit of the field.
So a potential let-off there for Jones.
Yeah.
Got away with a nice boundary to the offside, and she's fallen over here as she tries to work into the leg side. It's been very un-Eve Jones-like this innings. So usually such a graceful figure at the crease, but she's been struggling. We think she was possibly just put down at cover, and now has struggled to keep her footing there as she goes to the floor. Scoreless from that delivery as a result.
She's sort of testing her ankle, isn't she?
I think it was the captain, Sophie Luff. That's who's in at cover at the moment, and I think was the other side. This time it will be caught. Backward point. It's held on, and Eve Jones is out, and a rather torturous innings in the end comes to an end. She's dismissed for 5. The Central Sparks 13 for 1, and the first wicket of the day goes to filer from the second ball of the 6th over, and it's Eve Jones who is caught at backward points.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good catch. I mean, she hit it fairly full on, and Eve Jones is just frustrated with herself at giving what was, you know, a catch straight to the fielder. But she never really settled, I don't think. She did just never look like she was getting the time of the ball, etc. So,
well, Marie Kelly skips out towards the middle as we approach 5 to 11. Half-10 starts in this competition, as we've mentioned, 50 overs aside.
settler for her, just getting hold of the ball.
Doing the fielding over there.
Well, Kelly did well last year, a couple of half centuries in this tournament.
Yeah, 59 I think it was against the Thunder, a match-winning innings, and not the biggest innings of the tournament. She gets underway with this drive behind square on the offside, down to third it goes, and she comes back for 2. Ball is recorded to finish the over. 16 for 1 the Sparks start. It's been a slow one, it has to be said.
It has been a slow one. We want Marie Kelly to be getting the sorts of scores that she was getting last year that you mentioned, and that, as you say, that match-winning 59. She got 31 on Saturday, so I'm sure she'll want to improve on that.
It's a start though, and it's a bit of time at the crease, which is always important. Of course, all performances of Izzy Wong and Amy Jones on Saturday, but it was the 71 from 52 at Headingley that gave Sparks the victory. That was scored by Sarah Glenn, and it included 6 sixes as well as a 4. She very much went the aerial route, as Shrubsole goes the direct route to the keeper's gloves there, and it's no run from the first delivery of this over. 2 slips and a gully for Gwennon Davis. Backward point, a cover and a mid-off. Fielder at third as well, just in case, a long leg and a very wide mid-on. Had a very straight mid-wicket. It's one of those cricketing quandaries as Shrubsole bowls. It's outside the off stump, it's through to the wicket keeper, and it's another dot ball.
You mentioned Sarah Glenn. I mean, it was a massive innings, but actually she was a bit slower off to start, and then all the fireworks kicked off.
Sort of seemed to wait until the point where she needed to, but when she went, she went.
She did.
As Shrub went with 5 overs to go of the Western Storms game.
Yeah, similar innings, weren't they, really? They're sort of...
Got her team to victory and scored the winning runs with a 4 off the very last ball at Bristol. That latest delivery was just squeezed into the onside by Gwennon Davis. She has a little bit of a chat in the middle with Marie Kelly and a giggle. I think they realised there's only 2 fielders on the leg side and maybe should have got through for 1 there, as Davis just defends it down the track to Shrubsole, who has a good old look at Gwennon